At the beginning, it was my tribe. It was my clan. I definitely belonged here, not there. And when I was growing up, I was born in 23. By 33, I was keenly aware of the amount of anti-Semitism everywhere, and hearing about the boys in my co-op who wanted to study medicine, could never go to college here. They had to go to Vienna. They went to the Trinidad, to the islands in the Caribbean, and were getting medical degrees there, but not in America. So I was keenly aware that we were outsiders, felt very much an outsider, felt very, very connected to European Jewry, and I didn't feel like an American until I married Bruce Hamlin, who was Jewish, Hamlin, and moved to Marblehead, Massachusetts, which is New England, sitting up very straight. And they had a main street. And they had a cop, and Bruce knew his name. I was overwhelmed with joining America. Because of the books we read when I was a kid, they were never about an apartment house and delivering coal in the basement. They were all about an attic and a cellar, a front door, a back door, a dog named Spot, and the kid goes to play football and blah, blah, blah. And there has to be a grandfather clock dinging. So it meant everything to me, but it also, I felt very different. I had this secret side. And the older I got, I went off to teach my first year as chairman of the dance department at the Georgia State College for Women, which is now the Georgia University, in Milledgeville, and knowing that I was for sure the only Jew, and really, hoping it would be all right, we don't get into any difficulty. And one day a student came. She said, Miss Borenstein, which was my name, and they didn't even get it. This is a Jewish name. Miss Borenstein, I hear there's a Jew on the campus. I said, really? And I had been writing a Yiddish letter to my mother. It was on my desk. And she said, but I would know her right away. I said, really? How? Well, she said, Jews have horns. This is 1943 in the United States. I said, really? How do you know that? Well, my mother told me. Everybody knows that. Jews have horns. I said, really? I said, look at this. She says, oh, you can write shorthand. I said, no, that's not shorthand. That's Yiddish. And I'm the Jew. And I go like this. Come on, it's okay, touch me. It's all right. It's perfectly all right. She was hysterical because her mother had told her. Her mother told her a lie. And I said, no, it's not a lie. You see, the Bible was written in Aramaic, and the word for rays of light was translated as horns. And that's why Michelangelo made Moses with horns. And that has lasted into the hinterlands until now. So it kept underlining for me what it means to be Jewish. I was scared about it. I was scared in Marblehead, for sure. There were not many Jews there. Bruce was Jewish, but everybody knew him from the time he was a kid. He was a great athlete, so he was everybody's buddy and stuff, and he was in business in Marblehead. But I just would have to hang on to him. And finally, I did make a party. No, I was invited to a party. I taught dance there. I was chairman of the dance department at Radcliffe and Harvard, but at the same time, I had my own dance company in Marblehead. And I had a class for women. And the women that came were all Gentile, because they didn't, and had all studied in one way or another. They'd gone to the big Ivy League schools. And they made me a party on Marblehead Neck, which is strengst verboten for all Jews. And I had the big four-story mansions, with the whole floor for maids and stuff. And Bruce got sick. I said, I can't go to that party alone. I can't be with them. I don't know how to talk to Gentiles. I swear to you, I really felt that. And he said, go. I said, I'll call you in 1 hour and you'll tell me you're very sick and I'll come back. Okay? Okay. Well, they were my kind of people, 120%. And we all fell in love with each other, and I did not call him, and I didn't come back until late. And they stayed being my good friends. But it was a hard transition. I was always afraid, and I know to this day I am more comfortable with Jews. I see it. I know it. My son, one of my sons married a non-Jewish woman, and I see that their friends are mostly non-Jewish because that was what she knew. And it makes me just a little uncomfortable. Yeah. I like, it's not Hamish, it's not Stetteldick, you know? So it's, I mean, what happens to you when you're a kid lasts, really lasts.